Okay, so let's take a look at some inequalities. So let's say 5 is less than 8. So remember, if you want to put the little alligator teeth in, the alligator eats the bigger thing. So it's got to be facing the bigger thing. So we say 5 is less than 8. Or we could say 8 is greater than 5, mirroring it completely. So we have greater than and greater than equal to. Read the notes, print off the notes, highlight the notes. We have less than and less than equal to, and we have not equal to. So let's take a look at a question like x is greater than equal to 2. So what we want to do is we want to draw a number line. Now you can put all the numbers, but I'd rather just put the number in question. Now, in the notes, greater than or equal to and less than or equal to means a closed dot. So let's put a box around that because we have to remember that. That's in the notes. So we're going to put a closed dot at 2. Now we have to shade greater than 2. So 1, 3, etc. So we want to shade greater than 2. So x is greater than 2 this way, so shade that way, or put an arrow going up to the right. So again, put a closed dot at 2, then shade in the correct direction, and even check your answer. So pick a number like 5, and is that greater than 2? Yes, so we did it in the correct direction. Okay, let's take a look at x is less than, one thing in the notes, we want to make sure that we kind of think about this like a hand. So don't draw this, but look at the notes off to the right. We want to think about like a hand. And we're pointing with our left hand in the direction of what we want to be. So our left hand is our greater than hand. I'm going to erase that hand. So that same question, the next question, let's take a look at x is less than 3. So again, let's draw a number line. Now, anytime you can, try and be pretty. So if the above 3 is here, put the 3 there. Now we need to remember when it's less than or greater than, it's going to be an open dot. So we're going to put an open dot at 3, and then we need to shade less than 3, and left is left. So we're going to shade that way, and if you want to, put your hand with your thumb, with your right hand, facing in that direction. So again, as you can see in the notes, sometimes they like you to shade, or sometimes they like to put the arrow above facing in the direction. So again, English instructions in the notes. Put an open dot at 3 on the number line. Then draw a line or shade to the left. And you can use your hand if that helps. So there's a whole bunch of stuff off to the right about like interval notation and square and round brackets. And if you want to take a look at the notes, feel free to do so. But we're going to see that stuff again later next year. So now let's do a combo. So I'm going to put some lines in between my questions just to kind of separate the stuff. Now the question at the bottom, we have x is greater than or equal to 2 and x is less than 3. So let's draw a number line. And let's put 3 in exactly the same location as it was above, and therefore 2's there. Sure, write 1 and 0 and 4 if you like. So let's start off with the one on the left. We have x is greater than or equal to 2. So we're going to put a closed dot at 2 and then think about it for a bit which direction we're going to shade. Now, x needs to be less than 3, so we're going to put an open dot at 3. Now, we have to shade to the right, greater than 2, and to the left, less than 3. So we're just going to shade in between or put some kind of arrow in between. So that above, x is greater than or equal to 2 and x is less than or equal to 3, we want to write like a between. And in order to write a between, we're always going to write smaller number, less than, variable, less than, bigger number. And the 2 is equal to, so we're going to say that. And that's just mirrored like we saw above. But this is what we're going to call a between. So reviewing the page, in the first example, we have greater than 2, so we shade greater than equal to 2 with a closed dot. Next question, s is less than 3, shade to the, put an open dot at 3 and shade to the left of 3. Then we have a between, greater than or equal to 2, closed dot at 2, less than 3, open dot at 3, and shade in between and write a between statement if you like. So bottom right-hand corner of the notes, If we have a negative and we divide or multiply both sides by a negative, we have to change the direction of the sign. So be careful with that. So you might be given the equation and you have to draw it on the number line, and they might give you a number line and you have to draw it on the equation, or you might have to do a whole bunch of algebra from last time, adding and subtracting and multiplying and dividing to both sides to solve for what x needs to be, remembering if we ever divide by a negative, change the direction of the sign.